Who killed Pokemon Go?
What is going on with Pokemon Go? Is it just pure incompetence? Or is there something more sinister going on behind the scenes? It all started with the changes made to remote raid passes. Now, remote raid passes were easily the most unanimously loved feature they have ever added to the game. They were originally added during the height of the pandemic to allow players to still enjoy the game from home, but it did much more than that. So much so that it basically fixed the fundamental problems plaguing the game since release. You see, all of the best content in the game, like legendaries and mega Pokemon, are locked behind raids. Now, raids work as follow. A raid egg will spawn at any random location at any random time IRL. It will then hatch into whatever the raid Pokemon is, and stay there for the next 45 minutes. From there, you need to physically go to where the raid is happening, exchange your raid pass that you get only once a day, and work together with other players to beat it. On paper it sounds pretty fun, but in practice, it's one of the most stupid mechanics I've ever played. Cause who the hell is gonna be at this random park side at 1:45 PM on a Tuesday afternoon to catch a Landorus? The only way to really participate in the game is if you have a heavily coordinated and dedicated group of players that preferably live in the city to meet up at these random locations at random times. If you don't have that, you're getting shit. Now this is where remote raid passes come in, because with a remote raid pass, you can join a raid from anywhere. As long as you have someone on your friends list present at the raid to invite you, you can join any raid in the world. Because of this feature, Pokemon Go made more money during the pandemic than when it peaked in 2016. That's how popular this feature was. However, from day one, remote raid passes were a reluctant addition. They were only there to keep profits up during the pandemic, and now that the pandemic has subsided, they've been slowly trying to phase them out. Starting with removing the free weekly remote raid pass, the addition of elite raids, which is essentially just a raid that doesn't allow remote raid passes, and finally, the thing that has them in hot water right now, doubling the price of remote raid passes and adding a cap to how many you can use. This was the final straw. Tons of Pokemon Go players took to the internet, making their voice heard. Any single post relating to the game was flooded with players posting exactly how they felt about these changes, to the point where it was impossible to not see it, all while Niantic turns a blind eye and acts like nothing's happening. But that's not where the fun ends, because the worst thing you can do after a PR disaster like this is screw up even more. Literally right after the remote raid pass change, we had the April Fool's event, which had fans clamoring for the recently released Zorua to make an appearance. But instead, Pokemon Go players were treated to having all spawns for the entire day changed to Pidgey. Now, a move as bold as that's funny. Basically telling players to hold DL. But it didn't stop there, because Niantic decided that the most recent Elite Raid, which is an event that only happens on one day, and on one day only, and also requires you to go to a random location at a random time, should happen on Easter. You know, a day when a lot of people are going to be busy spending time with family and friends. Why? Well, there are two potential things going on here, both equally as dubious. The mental gymnastics these guys do when asked about it is crazy, justifying these changes because they want to hone in on their core demographic of Singaporean grandmothers. In reality, what they really want is your location data. They ain't getting any useful data to sell if people can play the game from home. So anything that enables that's gotta go, even if that means making the game unplayable for a lot of people. Because you know, as they say, if something is free, you're the product. Now the next theory is so insane, it's hard even for myself to believe, but it seems like Niantic is self-sabotaging. You see, Pokemon Go isn't the only game Niantic has made. Niantic has pumped out various other Pokemon Go clones, but with other IPs, all of which typically crash and burn because they aren't Pokemon. But Niantic's next game, Peridot, is a little different, because this time around, it's not borrowing from any other IP, it's completely owned by Niantic. So what's Peridot like? Well, it's quite literally just a Pokemon Go ripoff, complete with knockoff Pokemon. You see, when you want to use an existing IP, that right comes at a cost that doesn't exist if you don't borrow from any other IP. Now, I don't think it's far-fetched to believe that Pokemon Go's current state and the upcoming release of their one-to-one clone is a pure coincidence. Having Pokemon Go be a dumpster fire while offering players a one-to-one alternative that profits you more isn't out of the realm of possibility. However, if Niantic's plan really is to try and make players jump ship from Pokemon Go to Peridot, it has to be one of the most insane and tone-deaf plans ever conceived. You see, there's a reason why every game like Pokemon Go dies. It's not the game mechanics that carry Pokemon Go, it's the IP. People love Pokemon, and if it weren't for that, Pokemon Go itself would have been left in 2016. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys, and I make sure to reply to everyone. If you made it to the end of this video, or just love my objective opinions, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We're getting ever so closer to that 1,000 subscriber goal, so every little bit of support helps. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao fellas.